glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanosute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we are studying Nectar of Instruction. Today will be the last session for this unit. We'll cover the verse number 9 and 10 and 11 today. These are very, verses related to advanced subjects in Krishna consciousness. As I've already explained before, the book Deshamrit starts with very basic instructions and then takes one to very, very exalted instructions in bhakti. It starts from faith, shraddha, and takes one to the subject matter of prema. So these last three verses, they talk about bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. They're very beautiful to chant. Let's look at these verses here. Text 9. वैकुण्ठाजनितो वरामधुपुरी तत्रापि रात्सोत्सवात् बृन्दारण्यमुदारपाणिरमणात् तत्रापि गोवर्धनः राधाकुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृताप्लावनात् ऊर्याद् अस्य विराजतो गिरितटे सेवां विवेकी न कहा. So this verse is beautifully explaining about all the holy places and the hierarchy of their position, which one is superior to which holy place, coming to the conclusion that Sri Radha Kund is the most holy place. So these are very beautiful verses to even memorize, to glorify Radha Kund, to glorify Vrindavan. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha. Because in Vaikuntha, Lord resides in the form of Vishnu, four-handed form of the Lord. However, more superior to four-handed form of the Lord is two-handed form of the Lord. And that form of the Lord takes birth in Mathura. Therefore, it says the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha. the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there, right? The Lord appeared as Krishna in Mathura. Superior to Mathurapuri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokul, Sri Krishna. Where, then, is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? Sri Rupa Goswami is saying here, if that is the most holy place, why would someone not want to stay there? Indirectly telling people that you should stay there or you should reside there. Of course, it doesn't mean that we have to be physically there always. It means we have to cultivate the mood of service, which is to be developed to reside there. And by having that service attitude developed, one is automatically residing in that holy place. Physically, one may be away. Now, Srila Prabhupada is going to explain about the the same thing, how these different places are at different hierarchy. Purport, a very small purport. Let's read. The spiritual world is three-fourths of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself appeared at Mathura. Mm. Means when Prabhupada says here spiritual world, we should know he's talking about Vaikuntha. He's not just talking about Golok Dham, right? He's talking about Vaikuntha. Mm. The interior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests, Dwadash Vana, such as Talavana, Madhuvana, and Bahulavana, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavan forest is considered superior to Mathura. But superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan Hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Braja, from the torrential rains sent by the angry Indra, king of the demigods. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends. And there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radha Kund at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. Hmm. Advanced devotee prefers to reside at Radhakund because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani, Rati Vilas. Yes, someone else read this, please. Yes, Sujata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In
Hmm.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the area of Rajabhumi, you could not at first find the location of Radhakunda. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of the Radhakunda. Finally, he found a holy spot, and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told these devotees that the actual Radha Kunda was situated there. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotees, headed first by the six Goswamis. such as Rupa and Raghunatha Dasa. Presently, there's a large lake known as Radha Kunda there. Srila Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radha Kunda because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radha Kunda and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. The importance of Radha Kunda, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can persons uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radha Kunda. Thus, Radha Kunda is mainly worshipped by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Mm. So here it is said that no person um, with transcendental intelligence would do so, giving up Radhakund and trying to reside somewhere else. And it's also mentioned that one cannot, anyone belonging to other Vaishnava Sampradayas, one cannot understand the importance and divine nature of Radhakund if they are not interested in the devotional service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is something very, very interesting that Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they hold a very special position because they are following Sri Chaitanya, his teachings. And that's why they have access to this most holy place in the entire creation, Sri Radhakund. In the next verse now, Rup Goswami will talk about the hierarchy of different personalities. Hmm. Like here he mentioned the hierarchy of different places. Now he's going to talk about the hierarchy of different personalities. Who is most superior, like that. So it begins with the lowest and goes to the highest. कर्मिभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिनः तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्तभक्तिपरमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्ततः तेभ्यस्तापशुपालपङ्कजदृशस्ताभ्योऽपि सा राधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वदीयं तदीयसरसि तां नाश्रयेत् कः कृती. In the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Means amongst the karmis, the jnani is considered superior. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapatyate. That verse. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna. So, prema bhaktas are the topmost, but amongst the prema bhaktas, the gopis are most superior. Why? Because they're totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her kunda is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radhakund and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhav, render loving service to the divine couple, Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, the eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. So here's a little long purport where Srila Prabhupada begins to describe every single category mentioned here in the verse. starting with karmis, then going to jnanis, then going to devotees, and then at the end coming to the gopis. Mhm. At the present moment, almost everyone is engaged in some kind of fruitive activity. It is true. It is very true. In Kali Yuga, 99.99% people are karmis. Karmis means they have too much of inclination towards material work, right? They just want to work, 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 work. Duty, responsibility, this thing, that thing, morning to evening. They don't have time to sit down and think, what is life? What is the goal of life? Tattva vichar, nothing like that. Those who are desirous of gaining material profits by working are called karmis or fruitive workers. Fruitive workers, right? All living entities within this material world have come under the spell of Maya. This is described in the Vishnu Puran 6.7.61. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetragyakya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sangyanya Tritiya Shakti Ishyate. Yes, now let's read Rashmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanapana. Sages have divided the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead into three categories, namely the spiritual energy, marginal energy, and material energy. The material energy is considered to be the third class energy, Tritiya Shakti. Those living being within the jurisdiction of the material energy sometimes engage themselves like a dogs and hogs in the working very hard simply for the sense gratification. However, in this life or after executing pious activities in the next life, some karmis become strongly attracted to performing various kinds of sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Thus, on the strength of their pious merit, they are elevated to heavenly planets. Actually, those who perform sacrifices strictly according to Vedic injunctions are elevated to the moon and planets above the moon. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9.21, Shinne Punne Marte Loka Vishanti. After exhausting the results of their so-called pious activities, they begin to return to earth, which is called Maya Mrityuloka.
Martyaloka.
Mrityuloka, sorry. The place of death. Although such persons may be elevated to the heavenly planets of their pious by their pious activities, and although they may enjoy life there for many thousands of years, they nonetheless okay, there is something like
Must return.
yeah, must return to this planet when the pious or when the results of their pious activities are exhausted. Sorry,
Thank you.
read properly.
Yes, Victor.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavatanam. This is the position of all karmis, including those who act piously and those who act impiously. On this planet, we find many businessmen, politicians, and others who are simply interested in material happiness. They attempt to earn money by all means, not considering whether such means are pious or impious. Such people are called karmis, or gross materialists. Among the karmis are some vikarmis, people who act without the guidance of Vedic knowledge. Those who act on the basis of Vedic knowledge perform sacrifices for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu and to receive benedictions from him. In this way, they are elevated to higher planetary systems. Such karmis are superior to the vikarmis, for they are faithful to the directions of the Vedas and are certainly dear to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Krishna says, Yaya mam papadyante tams tataiva bhajami aham. In whatever way one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. Krishna is so kind that he fulfilled the desires of the karmis and jnanis, not to speak of the bhaktas. Although the karmis are sometimes elevated to higher planetary systems, as long as they remain attached to fruitive activities, they must accept new material bodies after death. If one acts piously, he can attain a new body among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, or he may attain some other position in which he can enjoy a higher standard of material happiness. On the other hand, Those who are engaged in impious activities are degraded and take birth as animals, trees, and plants. Thus, those furtive actors who do not care for the Vedic directions, the karmis, are not appreciated by learned saintly persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4, Nunam pramattah kurute vikarma, yat indriya pritaya apranoti, na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam, asan api kleshada asha dehaha. Materialists who work hard like dogs and hogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. Materialistic activities are not at all worthy of an intelligent man, for as a result of such activities one gets a material body, which is full of misery. The purpose of human life is to get out of the threefold miserable conditions, which are concomitant with material existence. Unfortunately, fruitive workers are mad to earn money and acquire temporary material comforts by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to lower species of life. Materialists foolishly make many plans to become happy in this material world. They do not stop to consider that they will live only for a certain number of years, out of which they must spend the major portion acquiring money for sense gratification. Ultimately, such activities end in death. Materialists do not consider that after giving up the body, they may become embodied as lower animals, plants, or trees. Thus, all their activities simply defeat the purpose of life. Not only are they born ignorant, but they act on the platform of ignorance, thinking that they are getting material benefits in the shape of skyscraper buildings, big cars, honorable positions, and so on. The materialists do not know that in the next life they will be degraded, and that all their activities simply serve as a prabhava, their defeat. This is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5. Prabhavas tavat aboda jataha. Hare Krishna.
So Sherpad is beginning from the lowest category, right? He's talking about weak karmis engaged in very sinful activities, and then talking about pious karmis. But even the pious karmis are engaged in activities which will bind them because they cannot be free from reaction. Mm. Next paragraph. Yes, Manish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma Prabhupada. One should therefore be eager to understand the science of soul, Atma Tattva. Unless one comes to the platform of Atma Tattva, by which one understands the soul and not the body is oneself, one remains on the platform of ignorance. Out of thousands and even millions of ignorant people who are wasting their time simply gratifying their senses, one may come to the platform of knowledge and understand higher value of life. Such a person is called Jnani. The Jnani knows that fruitive activities will bind him of material existence and cause him to transmigrate from one kind of body to another. As indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by the term Sarira, Sarira Bandha, body bound of bodily existence, as long as one maintains many conception of sense enjoyment, his mind will be absorbed in karma, fruitive activities, and this will oblige him to transmigrate from one body to another. Thus, a jnani is considered superior to karmi because he is least refrained from blind activities of sense enjoyment. This is verdict of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, although a jnani may be liberated from the ignorance of a karmis, unless he comes to the platform of devotional service, he is still considered to be an ignorance, avidya. Although one may be accepted as Jnani or one advanced in knowledge, his knowledge is considered impure because he has no information of devotional service and thus neglects the direct worship of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Jnanis take a devotional service, he rapidly becomes superior to an ordinary Jnani. Such an advanced person is described as Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Parama. How a Jnani takes a devotional service is mentioned in Bhagavad-gita 7.19, wherein Krishna says, Bahunam Jnanam Nam At
Paunam
Ante
Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevah Sarvamiti
Sarvaiti
Sa
Sa
Mahatma
Mahatma
Subuddhi.
Sukta. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Actually, a person is wise when he surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna, but such a Mahatma, great soul, is very rare.
Thank you, Guru. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So actually, it is true that after many births of collecting, pious credits, someone may then be able to begin to understand Atma Tattva. Otherwise, people don't. And true renunciation in the heart develops only when someone has understood the subject matter of soul. People on the bodily platform, their renunciation is is temporary. Samshan Vairagya. Samshan Vairagya, you know what is Samshan Vairagya. Like when people go to a crematorium ground, they see someone's dead body getting burned or buried, then they feel, oh, life is waste. Nothing is good in life. Hopeless. But that is just momentary. After they return home, they'll nicely eat, drink, and sleep. Right? That's called Samshan Vairagya. So that kind of Vairagya can come in the heart of anyone. But true Vairagya, genuine renunciation, develops in the heart of someone who has developed Atma Jnana, spiritual knowledge of Atma. That is possible after pious activities performed in many lifetimes. Then a person develops that kind of consciousness, that kind of state of mind. Now I'll ask you a question. Simple question. You see a karmi, means karmi, when you say karmi, we are talking about consciousness. Take it. Engage in sense gratification, eating, sleeping, having sex, whatever. And then there might be an Atma Gyan, also externally engage in sense gratification, eating, sleeping, sexual life, all that stuff. Do you think they will be actually mentally doing the things in the same way? No. Those who are jnanis, even if they are engaged in sense gratification, they engage in sense gratification with a sense of detachment. Which means what? They will engage in sense gratification, in 2 minutes they'll become detached from it. But a problem with a person who has karma pravritti is they engage in sense gratification and then they become super attached to it. Right? Which means they just become more and more engrossed and engrossed and engrossed and engrossed and engrossed. Whereas a jnani is not like that. Jnani is unaffected. That's why cultivating spiritual knowledge and Atma Jnana is very helpful for the protection of the soul. It does not let the soul degrade materially. Even if the person is engaged in sense gratification, it will not let the person degrade so much in consciousness. That knowledge of Atma, very, very essential. Very essential. Atma Jnana. People who do not cultivate it, their life is like hopeless. Like Prabhupada says, no, their future is they become cats and dogs, nothing more than that. And that also when we hear cats and dogs, it's not just like, okay, you become a cat and then you become a human being again. No, it will like sometimes cat, then dog, then some tree, then some cockroach, then rat, then some fish. I mean, so many different births they will get. And then maybe after long time, a human birth. Therefore, those who do not take the devotional service, their state is pitiable. I mean, where they are going, who knows? Very pitiable. Very pitiable. Very sad. Next paragraph. Yes, who will read next paragraph? Mukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. After taking to devotional service under the regulative principles, a person may come to the platform of spontaneous love of Godhead, following in the footsteps of great devotees like Narada and Sanka and Sanatana. The Supreme Personality.
Yeah, got it. Sanak and Sanatana.
Sanak and Sanatana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then recognize him to be superior. The devotees who have developed love of Godhead are certainly in an exalted position. Of all these devotees, the gopis are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna, nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. Indeed, sometimes Krishna puts them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis become most dejected and spend the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. This means that in one sense they were never actually separated from Krishna. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Rather, Vipralamba Seva, thinking of Krishna in separation, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, is far better than serving Krishna directly. Thus, of all the devotees who have developed unalloyed devotional love for Krishna, the gopis are most exalted. And out of all these exalted gopis, Shrimati Radharani is the highest. No one can excel the devotional service of Shrimati Radharani. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Shrimati Radharani. Therefore, he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to understand her transcendental feelings. In this way, Srila Rupa Goswami gradually concludes that Shrimati Radharani is the most exalted devotee of Krishna and that her Kunda lake, Shri Radha Kund, is the most exalted place. This is verified in quotation from Laghu Bhagavat Amrita, Uttarakhand 45 as quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrit, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarv Gopishu Sevika Vishnu Atyant Vallabha. Just as Shrimati Radharani is dear to Supreme Lord Krishna Vishnu, so her bathing place Radha Kund is equally dear to Krishna. Among all the gopis, she alone stands supreme as the Lord's most beloved. Therefore, everyone interested in Krishna consciousness should ultimately take shelter of Radha Kund and execute devotional service and execute devotional service there throughout one's life. This is the conclusion of Rupa Goswami in the 10th verse of Upadesha Amrita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very beautiful verse here quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Given in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, actually. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnos Tasyaha Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnor Atyanta Vallabha. It's easy to understand, right? Just as Radha is Priya to Lord Krishna or Vishnu, similarly, Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha, her kunda is equally dear. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. She stands supreme amongst all the servants of Lord Vishnu. Right? Sarva Gopishu. So this is very, very beautiful. This is a conclusion of the actually 10th verse of Rupa Goswami given in Bhakti Shamriti. Okay. Now next verse. We should talk about again bathing in Sri Radha Kund. कृष्णस्योच्चै प्रणयवसति पेयसिभ्योऽपि राधाम् कुण्डं चास्य मुनिभिरभितस्तादृक् एव व्यधायि यत्प्रेष्ठैरप्यलम् असुलभम् किं पुनर्भक्तिभाजाम् तत्प्रेमेदं सकृत् अपि सरस्नातुराविष्करोति. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Rajbhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kunda is very rarely attained, even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. Fully aroused. Let's read. Someone? Priyatama Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Why is Radha Kund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radha Kund, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radha Kund and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radha Kund is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Next paragraph. Madhumati.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis, if he once takes a bath in Radha Kund. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is a most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhakti-vinod Thakur writes in his connection that Sri Radha Kund is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, Sakhis, and confidential serving maids, Manjaris, of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Goloka Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddha Deha, should live at Radha Kund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and under their direction engage constantly in her service. This is the most exalted method for those who engage in the devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Sri Bhakti-vinod Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narada and Sanaka, who do not
Sanaka, do not get an opportunity to come to Radhakund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radhakund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radhakund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, take shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the bank of Radhakund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks, live on the banks of Radhakund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narada. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakund. By serving Radhakund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. Hare Krishna.
So you can see or imagine how exalted is prospects of a person, devotee who is serving Sri Radhakund or residing in Sri Radhakund and engaging in devotional service. That person gets a chance of becoming an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the guidance of the gopis, the eternal guidance. Oh, that's a very, very exalted position. But then that exalted position comes at a price. To reside in Radhakund basically means to develop that kind of service attitude. People think we just go physically there and live there and that's how we become advanced. That's not true. Who is residing in Radhakund? Devotees like Srila Prabhupada, our acharyas, they're residing in Sri Radhakund. Why? Because they're engaging in the most confidential service of Srimati Radharani. When we say here Rupa Goswami is asking us, come and stay at Radhakund, is basically telling us to develop that seva bhav which the gopis of Vrindavan have. You know, what is their seva bhav? For the gopis of Vrindavan, nothing, no one matters more than Krishna. That's their seva bhav. For them, everything is Krishna, right? So only when one develops that attitude, that exclusive surrender to Krishna, then that person can get a chance of such service. In this world, people, they are completely focused on taking care of family, society, friends, so many obligations. And some time or some consciousness they dedicate towards Krishna. That is also actually mechanical. But here we are talking about those who are in intense love with Krishna, always meditating, thinking about him, trying to serve him. Such a person with a very pure heart is qualified to reside at Sri Radhakund. And then that Radhakund will be revealed to that personality. The actual Radhakund, not the Radhakund that we see through our eyes. Right? So Srila Bhakti-sastri Saraswati Thakur used to say that many people who are living in Radhakund, they have made Radhakund as Narakakund, by living very sinful life. So they made it actually hellish place. So the place is hellish not because of the place having any contamination, but the people living there having contaminated minds. When Rupa Goswami says here, you go and bathe there, even once if you bathe there, you become a Premi Bhakta of Krishna. Again, this doesn't mean just taking a bath there. This means basically our consciousness should be bathed with the seva bhav that a person has in Radhakund. That bath we need to take, right? People go to Vrindavan. I don't know, when people go to Vrindavan for yatra, they come back home. What do they bring back with themselves? If they bring back only some faint memories of places, that's nice, but that's not really the best benefit. What should be the benefit of coming from there? One should want to serve Krishna. One should want to serve devotees of Krishna. One should develop this intense desire of seva. Until unless we have this seva bhav, our bhakti is very shallow. Right? People may want to chant the holy name. People may want to study. People may want to take darshan. That is fine. But that might be done with the spirit that, okay, if I serve God, I'll be happy in life. But actually, the tendency to give, to offer seva, that should increase more and more and more and more and more. Then I'm bringing Vrindavan with me. Then I'm bringing Mayapur with me. Then I'm bringing the Holy Dham with me. I have been to the Holy Dham, holy place. So here, now, should we go and take bath in Radhakund? Actually, no. Our acharyas, they don't permit that. Especially Srila Prabhupada, he disallowed his disciples. He said, you just go and touch the water of Radhakund, respectfully, put it on your head. That is also as good as a snan, because touching the water of a river is also considered to be snan. Or doing achman is also considered to be a snan, but you don't have to fully put water, on your body. So Shilva said that we respectfully just touch the water of Radhakund and come back, you know, and take the blessing of Shri Radhakund. Because that Radhakund is not different from Radha. I mean, that water is not different from Krishna Prem. Now, Srila Bhakti-sastri Thakur, he gave a very beautiful explanation to this verse. He said that when Rupa Goswami is saying in Updeshamrit that a devotee should reside at Radhakund, he is talking about your Guru Maharaj. He should reside at Radhakund. And then what about you? So then Bhakti-sastri Thakur says that I'll stay 1 kilometer away from Radhakund. Whenever my Guru Maharaj will call me, I'll just go there to seva and then come back. Because I'm not qualified to stay there. So I'll stay close. I'll not stay there. I'll stay close. I'll stay 1 kilometer away. And my spiritual master, he's a pure devotee of Krishna. He can stay at Radhakund. And when he calls me for seva, I just go there to seva and come back. So this is the bhav of our acharyas. Though Rup Goswami is saying, come, 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 they are like, I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified. But the one who thinks I'm not qualified, that person is most qualified. That person becomes most qualified. So this is it. Any questions or comments? Yes, Preetham,
Prabhuji, how do we, like when we, in the earlier verse, you said that pure devotees are compassionate yet disconnected. So then, I mean, for a layperson like me, it sounds contradictory now. Compassionate, and so when we share our problems with them, it doesn't matter to them, or when they show, yes, they're compassionate, but at the same time, then you realize, okay, they're again busy with their, like, serving other devotees. So that means, was I not heard, or am I not close to that pure devotee? How to understand this?
In Bhagavad Gita also we learn this principle, being connected at the same time being disconnected. Krishna also says, I am connected to material nature and I am disconnected. So what does it mean? It means that they know that they have a role to play and that's all. They don't want to overdo it because they know ultimately they are not the controller. So they're disconnected. See, too much of expectation or too much of this ego that I am the maintainer, I am the caretaker, it comes because of our false identification with the body or the designations that we have. So they are free from such designations. So then they don't connect too much with those designations. They're not overwhelmed with those responsibilities because they know they have a role to play, their part to play. They play their part. After that, Krishna will do whatever Krishna wants to do. So when we get too much engrossed in thinking, I am the doer, I am the doer, I am the doer, then we start developing too much of concern about anything, about an activity, about a responsibility, about a relationship, about a personality. But when we are free from this mentality of I am the doer, then in any relationship you hold in this world, whether it is material or spiritual, you will be connected and disconnected simultaneously. Srila Prabhupada, when he was leaving the body, did he not have people behind who loved him like anything? He had. But then when he was leaving this world, he was not feeling any kind of remorse. Why am I leaving these such nice disciples? I'm going now, I'm going. None. So how is it possible? Like if we have just one person loving us in this world, we would not want to leave that person. But Srila Prabhupada, he had thousands of disciples loving him, I mean, more than anything. And still, when it came for him to leave, he left without any feeling of lamentation. Oh, now I miss my disciples. No, because he knows that on the physical platform we are getting separated, but spiritually we are always connected. So one has to understand that this world is a place of um, you know impermanence. Anyone who has understood this truth that this world is a place of impermanence, change is the nature of this world, will not be so much affected by change in this world. Will be able to accept it. That's why then pure devotees of Krishna will stay disconnected also and connected at the same time.
I have two more questions, please.
Hmm.
It was mentioned that Narad Muni does not get an opportunity to take bath in Radha Kund,
Yeah.
but Narad Muni life just revolves around Krishna.
So there are devotees of different levels of Krishna consciousness and different types of devotees. There are devotees who are on the path of Vidhi Marg, and there are devotees who are on the path of Rag. So we know devotees like Narada, Sanak, and Sanatan. These are devotees on the Vidhi Marg. Vidhi Marg Bhakti also leads to prema, but that prema can only develop to the extent of loving Lord Vishnu. So those devotees, they can at most achieve Vaikuntha. Why? Because their path is full of love with respect and wonder and reverence. So there is love with respect. Getting it? Hmm. But then there is the path of Rag, which has spontaneous attraction. And that path of Rag takes a devotee to Golokunda. So Narad Muni is a Premi Bhakta, a pure devotee of Krishna, but not on Raga Marg, he is on Vidhi Marg. Sanak and Sanatana are pure devotees of Krishna, but not on Raga Marg, on the Vidhi Marg. Because they are on the Vidhi Marg, they have no access to Radha. So they are also pure devotees of Prema Bhaktas, but they are not Premi Bhaktas on Raga platform. Whereas the Gopis of Vrindavan are Premi Bhaktas on Raga platform. Okay. So therefore, that's why that place is not approachable for them, or not accessible to them.
Yes. One last question, please.
Hmm.
Like we hear, um, when we have mercy of Srimati Radharani, we get entrance in Shri Golok Dham. But here, like residing in Shri Radhakund itself is close to impossible now. So always I felt like, as you mentioned, it is possible, it's going to take lifetimes. But here it says like only when we reside in Sri Radha Kund, we'll get mercy, we'll be able to serve. When we serve sincerely, we get mercy, we reside there. So then one cannot go to Golok Dham now without residing in Radha Kund.
I've already mentioned, isn't it? Here it doesn't mean physically you reside there. It means you develop that seva bhav. So that's first it's developing that seva bhav when you not reside there physically. So many devotees in our movement never stayed in Radha Kund. That does it mean they never went to Golok Dham? Look at our spiritual master. How many of them are staying in Radha physically? Does it mean they are not going to go back home back to God and Golok Dham? How much time they spend at Radha Kund? Maybe they just go for a parikrama and then come back, right? They are not living there permanently. They are doing seva, service. So they are not going to go to Golok Dham. For how long did Prabhupada stay at Radhapur? For how long did Bhakti-sastri Thakur stay at Radhapur? You have to understand the real import of the statement. Residing there means developing that seva bhav, service attitude. So that seva bhav we will develop, follow the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada, regardless of whether you're staying in Radhapur or not staying in Radhapur. That's the point.
Thank you. Krishna.
Physically, it will not be possible always for someone to stay. But in consciousness, one can always be there if one is advanced. And to come to that level of advancement, one has to practice from the basic steps. So we follow the basic teachings, wait by slowly, then we start following the advanced teachings. And then one day we become resident of Golok. Yes, Madhumati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, most of the answers I probably got it, but I still wanted to ask you, like when you mentioned seeing Radhakund by eyes and feeling it are two different things. If you can a little bit elaborate on that, that would be great.
I mean, when we go there, we see Radhakund through these eyes, and our eyes will show only the material vision of the place. We'll see only that. What else will we see? We'll not see what is happening there. Because in Vrindavan, even at present, Krishna is doing his pastimes. We will not see all of that. We will see the cars, the rickshaws, the people, the monkeys, the place. So that actual Vrindavan will be visible to us when our heart becomes completely purified, right? Chintamani bhav. Like, you know the story. Loknath Goswami, he accepted Narottam Das Thakur as a disciple after long time of request made by Narottam Das Thakur. So, what Seva Narottam Das Thakur used to do? He used to clean up the place where Loknath Goswami would do his morning, duties. And that's how he pleased Loknath Goswami. So once Loknath Goswami had gone for the morning duty, nature's called. And then he wanted to wash his hand. So he wanted some mud to wash his hand. So he told Narottam that I cannot wash my hand with this Vraja Rach. This is so pure. I cannot wash my hand with this. So now you get the soil outside Vraj. Then I'll wash my hand. Now Narottam Das Thakur, because of this Guru Seva and Bhakti Bhav, he was looking around. He said, Guru Maharaj, you see soil here? I don't even see soil here. I just see Chintamani Dham. So how will I get soil for you? So then Narottam Das Thakur started walking. And because the whole Vrindavan is Chintamani Dham, though it is soil, for us it's soil, right? Narottam Das Thakur was just seeing Chintamani. And then it said he went all the way to Agra. And where is Agra? He went all the way to Agra. And from there, he brought the soil back in the evening. And then Loknath Goswami asked, "Where were you? I was waiting for you. Since morning, I'm waiting for you." I said, "I didn't see soil anywhere. This is all Chintamani. For soil, I had to reach, to a far place." So now, do we have that vision? We don't have that vision, right? He had that vision.
But
Also,
Prabhuji, since we do not have that vision as of now, and we go bathe ourselves in Radha Kund, at what stage will our progress be in that case?
oh, we go and bathe there at what stage? Very good question. So we go and bathe there. First of all, we go and bathe there with a permission from our spiritual master. Can I go, please, and take a bath there? And spiritual master says, yes. Then you go. First thing, you know. Second thing, you go bathe there in a very, very secretive manner. In the sense, it's a very, very sacred act that you're going to do. So we cannot make a hue and cry of it, no fanciful things. In a very meditative manner, you leave your house, you do some austerity, walking to that place, purify your consciousness, right? And when you reach that place, you go down to that place, you offer some beautiful prayers to that place, correct? After your mind is completely now cleansed, all material thoughts gone, all material desires, just finish in mind, you're clean and pure. Then, in a very peaceful manner, just enter the lake, the Kunda, thinking of Krishna, Radha, Seva, thinking of one's unqualified position, sinful, life, sinful behavior. And then you slowly take a dip, come out, take another dip, come out, take another dip, come out. In a very respectful manner, leave the place, leave the lake, right? And then come back home. That's how one should take the bath. Not, you go in a scooty, vroom, 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 at a high speed, and you reach there and then suddenly open your clothes and jump into the lake, and then you swim around there, splash water, and then come back. I have done my Radha Kund Snan. So,
Very true, Prabhuji. But in case of who are non-devotees, who are not Krishna conscious, if they um, go for the showbiz, like how you demonstrated right now, do they benefit it? I'm sure they do in some portion.
no, what benefit? They'll just commit aparadh and come back.
Oh,
Then they'll commit offense.
hmm.
And when they commit offense, that offense will take them away from Krishna consciousness, from bhakti.
In the sense that they haven't understood the importance of bathing in Radha Kund, and they
Yes.
understood. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
That's the thing. So devotees can bathe after a certain period of practicing Krishna consciousness. If they have permission from the spiritual master, they have been practicing for 10, 15, 20 years. Now their mind is little, sane. Their desires are kind of finished. They're fixed up in Krishna consciousness. They're very clear that the goal of life is to become a devotee of Krishna, pure devotee of Krishna. Then go silently, go take a bath, come out. No need to tell people, advertise, oh, I went for Radha Kund Snan today. Let's take a photograph there. Just go, wait and come. Which means it's like, going for in the previous ages, not now. People would plan for a yatra. So they would plan for the whole year that this state will go for yatra. And then they will walk for kilometers and kilometers and then reach that place and take darshan after standing in queue for 10, 20 hours and then come back. Which means they sacrifice a lot to reach that place. Now that sacrifice is actually your honor and respect for that place. Right, isn't it? Hmm? So if we do that, and that's how we do it, then very nice. Go and take back another Kund once in at least this life. No problem. It's okay. But it should not become a swimming. That's why Srila Prabhupada said no, because when Prabhupada took disciples there, at first he allowed them. He said, you take bath in another Kund. But then they were somersaulting there. So then Prabhupada said, you are nonsense people. You are not qualified for it. Come out. So we follow in their footsteps. And simple thing is there. Actually, we are also emotional, no? So we don't understand. Taking 3 drops of water is considered to be a snan on the head. It's not that you have to completely take your body inside. That's called bath. Just 3 drops of water on the head. It's also considered to be a snan, a bath. So that way also one can get Krishna prem if one is doing that also nicely in the right spirit. Right? Okay, any other question? No? Fine. So we stop here and take this week and the next week as a study break. You can give your exam in the last week of December, post Christmas. Christmas is 25th on Monday. So that week we can do the exam of Nectar construction. And from January we can start the study of Bhakti-sastri, Nectar of Devotion. Okay. So request all of you to kindly become little passionate about this course and complete your assignments on time. By the end of December, you can finish all the past pending stuff. And in January, we start with Bhakti-sastri Sindhu, which should likely take 2 months, 2.5 months. So by March end, we can pack up this batch. Right. And from February, we are starting a new batch of Bhakti-sastri. So you can let know your friends or anyone who is interested to join in English. Weekend batch. All right. And those who have things pending, units pending, they can attend in that batch. Pending units.